Okay.
Okay.
We are at the Village Council regular meeting, March 27th, 2025. It is 7:14 PM, and we will start with roll call. Council President Camera.
Here.
Councilperson Grant.
Here.
Councilperson Passion.
Here.
Councilperson Martin.
Hey.
Councilperson McNamara.
Present.
And Councilperson Koss.
Present.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we will move to our meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve our March 13th, 2025 committee as a whole minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Do we have a motion to approve the March 13th, 2025 council meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right, next we will move to committee as a whole report, and we will start with Councilperson Martin. Services. I was gonna call him JP. Sorry, Councilperson Martin.
Alright, so this week I'm working on the lead pickup, get out some bids to two companies. One is 5 Season Landscaping, the other is Groundmaster Landscaping Services. I just want to say we've had great success with Groundmaster Landscaping Services for the past 2 years. I'd like to get a bid out maybe for 2 or 3 years, see what we can do, maybe save a little money. The food trucks. We're having some problems scheduling, and I think that's due to, I scheduled these food trucks October and November of last year, and it was way too early to find out because some of these food trucks did not keep that same schedule. They started over and started booking the dates that we had assigned, unfortunately. I'm working on some replacements, and I gotta go back and just double check to make sure all the food trucks that are supposedly coming are coming on the dates. And I realize how frustrating that is because I myself am a foodie. And when these trucks are supposed to be here, I want them to be here on that date and on that time. So, sorry about that.
It messes up dinner plans,
It
right?
does, it really does. It's like right in my ear.
I know, right? Well, Nanados.
Yeah. All right, anything else for services?
Not at this time.
Okay, next we have Councilperson Koss for streets.
Nothing really new to report. We're still kind of working on it. I haven't had any new emails come across. I don't know if you want to talk about this right now. We
Let's do that.
probably should. So not quite streets, lakes. Jacob sent out a memorandum. We're sending this out to the residents that are affected. And basically they are going to be conducting preliminary field work for potential maintenance improvements to the lake system. If your property is one that they would need to access, you will get a letter. Everybody that, the employees will have this letter on them. If you need to question them, they don't know what's going on, so there's not a lot of questions they can answer for you, but basically they have a letter and they're gonna be digging holes in the back of your yard. They will try to not walk in your yard. They will try to walk on the village property as much as possible and try to be as careful with everything as possible. They will be digging holes. They will dig them back up. That's all I got. Questions? Okay. That's all I got.
And we will also get this posted online as well. Once we just got this, like 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's very well written.
Okay, nice.
All right. And next we will move to Council President Camera for Recreation and Parks.
All right, so sign up for your pool membership. MinervaParkPool.org is the place to go to sign up for it. You can still get a discount as a resident until the end of April. It's $25 off. We have begun the plans, not the plans, but John, the pool manager, has met with us out at the pool. We have some maintenance activities scheduled to make sure we have a good pool season coming up. We're getting our lifeguards hired, our concession stand workers hired. I think things are on track for a wonderful pool season this year. We also have Five Seasons should be starting all of their ground maintenance in the neighborhood.
Didn't we just get
I
an
know we had
email?
an announcement go out by the village email, right, or text, to say that that was coming. So be on the lookout, they'll be out there. They usually start with getting the beds ready for the season. They'll do some mulching, they'll put down fresh mulch, I guess it is. And yeah, so you'll see them working throughout the neighborhood. So, and then we have the fountains back up and running, which is really nice to see. And I think that's it.
Playground mulch
What's
was
that?
delivered and spread.
Playground mulch has been delivered and has been spread as well. I
Thank
think
you.
that's all I have to say.
No, time is running out to get your pool discount, right?
Yeah,
We have a pool?
yeah,
We have a pool.
we have a pool.
Whoa, we have a pool.
Yes.
Save the pool.
Save the pool.
Buy a membership, or two, a spare one, just in case.
All right. All right, Lori Howard. We're at citizen comments.
He's just here.
I wasn't planning on speaking, I was walking by.
Oh, hi.
Lori Howard, 2785 Wildwood. I've been in communication with the code enforcement officer about that house behind us, the pink house. And there's lots of concerns with that house, but the biggest concern is the tree. The oak tree, the big tree out front. What can we do? What can this community do to save that tree? Because it's gonna die. I've already had 2 arborists look at it and have read all about it, and I've sent the village information about that ivy that's growing up the tree. It's a weed, so it's against ordinance. There's hanging from the tree. And I don't get a whole lot of response from the code enforcement person. Once in a while, I'll email back. So what are we doing? Do we have any plans? Does anybody know?
No.
So this is,
The first I
so
heard.
citizen comments just means that you just talk until you're done talking.
I know that's great, but nobody ever answers any questions, so can we also change that rule? Because obviously Tiffany, I've CC'd you on a couple of emails, and Tommy's been on some emails, and I need to know what's going on, other than me knocking on their door and asking them what they're gonna do. I mean, it's out of ordinance, so when are we gonna enforce it? And if you can't answer that, then think about it and please email me back, because it's a true concern. Big branches fell last week or the week before, again, more branches keep falling, and that's a bus stop right there. So I think the village needs to be concerned, and I think the village needs to do something. It's almost too late. Did anybody read the information I sent? Did you read the article about the ivy?
I never received any email about any ivy or someone.
I didn't know if the mayor would share with council. I can send it out to the whole council. I also posted it on Facebook, and I know you're on there, so I did post it for everybody to read about it.
What's the address?
I'm not asking for.
It's the pink house right there. There's there's,
Yeah. It's a noxious weed. So,
It's English ivy, it's invasive too.
yes. Yeah. So, let's do something before the tree dies. Because I don't think they can afford to have that tree removed, so that's gonna be another problem.
Yeah. I think,
Okay, that's all I have. It'd be great if we can change something about answering questions. That's probably why people don't come to meetings.
okay. Next, we will move to legislation.
All right, for tonight's legislative business, we move to ordinance 2025-01. This is amending EAC duties. And ordinance amending chapter 1202.049D of the Village of Minerva Park codified ordinances. As this is the third reading, I will move for passage.
Second.
Moved and seconded, will there be any discussion?
I know we brought this up. I think I was the one that initially brought it up, just to kind of, bring it up to everyone else. It's to really correct / clarify some language within P and Z's duties, from requiring their recommendation to review and recommend approval or disapproval. So I think it's good because personally, I don't think that non-elected officials should be a stopping point for progress within the village, but I do think that their input is highly encouraged and recommended, and I always want to hear what they have to say. But being appointees, I think it makes more sense to hear what they have to say and then allow council to make those decisions. But that's my part of the discussion. Anybody else?
I agree.
Does anybody else have anything to say before we move on to roll call? I'm gonna go with, okay. So right now we are, I'm sorry. Jason seconded it. Okay, so Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Council President Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Nay.
Okay. Alright.
All right, the motion passes. We now move to ordinance 2025-06. This is supplemental appropriations. An ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expense of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2025. Now, we will see that this is an adjustment of the previous iteration of supplemental appropriations. It is actually a financial improvement. It is a change of $35,000 reduction for the community environment, community planning and zoning fund. They were able to find some usable funding, and here we go. So, as this is related to paying bills, I would move to waive rules requiring 3 readings.
Second.
Moved and seconded, will there be any discussion? There does not appear to be any discussion.
Alright. Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Council President Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
And Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Having waived the rule requiring 3 readings, I now move for passage of ordinance 2025-06 on an emergent basis.
Second.
Moved and seconded, will there be any discussion?
Alright. Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
Council President Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
And Councilperson McNamara.
Aye. The motion passes. We now move to resolution 2025-08. This is a resolution confirming the mayor's appointment of Jose de Jesus as a full-time police officer for the Village of Minerva Park, Ohio, and to declare an emergency. As this is the first reading, we have the intent to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings and pass emergency. So, on that basis, I move that we waive the requirement of 3 readings.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Will there be any discussion? Yes, there will. Having spoken to the chief, it seems that Officer de Jesus is off to a great start and will make an exemplary officer for the village.
Awesome. Anybody else?
That was the last one I'm going to do to you. End of an era.
I'm so sure I'm gonna pick up that torch.
Council President Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
And Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
Having waived the requirement of 3 readings, I move for the passage of resolution 2025-08 on an emergent basis.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Will there be any discussion?
Okay. Councilperson Grant.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Passion.
Aye.
Councilperson Martin.
Aye.
Council President Camera.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. That concludes legislative business for this evening. Madam Mayor.
All right, do we have any old business?
Can we talk about ivy around a tree?
You can talk about anything you want to talk about.
Is that something that we call a weed, or is a weed just a plant that nobody wants, or, I mean,
No,
is?
there's specific definitions as to what a noxious weed is. I will just, because I don't know those all off the top of my head, it's
Sure.
determined by ODNR. And we, like many municipalities, have a list where we refer to it. We'll just double check that, I'll talk to John. The tree, and you know, it's interesting because in this particular case, the resident, Ms. Howard, had multiple arborists looking at was trespassing it on the site, you know, or because it's a private pit. The tree is clearly on the private property.
Could have been a drive-by arborist. You
I have a few, well, arborists usually like to get close and personal with the trees to get to know them, right? So,
No one
I have
has
concerns not to encourage that kind of behavior. She's right to come in and talk about her concerns. I don't want
pretty
her
tree.
doing things on other people's property, and so I hope that's not what happened. In this case in particular, we'll follow up. It's a big tree. I think in just kind of eyeballing it, one of the things that I noticed here is that, I don't know if I have still my picture up, the parts of the tree that look, to me, deadish are the ones that are hanging over their vehicles. So,
Okay.
you know, we can only, if there's a danger to the right of way, then we can declare, you know, some hazard tree. We did that with a house not that long ago in order to get them to cut the tree down. So we'll talk internally and see what the best course of action is to address it.
Yeah, because in my professional role, having paid for many trees blown over by wind, I think that's the one thing that I worry about the most is if that tree became,
Our problem.
in the roadway. And I mean, if we didn't take action because there was the threat of it, you know, becoming a dead tree because of something that was causing it to have an issue that could be remedied, it might be cheaper to make something happen than it is to clean up the tree laying in the
Yeah.
roadway.
We were generally speaking-
Ivy's killed a bunch of my stuff, and it is so annoying.
I'm sorry, how is it council?
Is this the tree?
No,
Okay, this is something else.
this is something else that I need to
Thank
talk about.
God, I was like, no.
Yeah,
And you're like, that is not that house.
No.
Okay, all right.
And it's a pretty tree. I like the tree.
And JP, I think it's a council thing that we should at least bring up and discuss because I worry about the
Yeah.
thing falling in the roadway. And it will be tens of thousands of dollars to remove from the roadway if it falls
So,
over.
if there's ways to cheaply care for the tree, I mean, it's an old ancient tree, you know, that's good, and we would hope the resident would cooperate with us. You know, we've had other things we've had to deal with that particular resident, some older vehicles and things like that, they're not always happy to see us, so this would be our first go around with them. Perhaps we can get them to go along with the program.
I know, but it seems like they're elderly. Like, do they need help? Can we help them? Am I allowed to ask about empathy?
There's some involved code, I'm looking at it right now, there's some involved code sections we have that obviously I haven't looked at before, but it's like, there's requirements to trim dead branches, and if you don't,
It's just, I mean, that ivy is gonna kill the tree. Like,
weeds and grass.
And then it's
Okay,
gonna.
we'll-
And then it's
we'll
gonna
discuss
Yeah,
it.
there's
Like,
some,
it's
there's
not
some,
like-
there might be some,
right. I
We're
wanna
doing it.
help. Like, you know, it just, sometimes you need a little help.
We'll see what we can do. Some people don't like to be told what to do either, and we run into that, so.
Yeah, I mean,
So we'll see what we can do.
we're not telling them, we're just maybe helping them. It's different, hopefully.
Some people don't want to help. We'll check.
I'm just gonna say, this isn't the first rodeo with that particular. I've heard about this tree for probably 3 to 4 years, and we have had people look at it and say that like there was nothing really wrong with it. Again, this has started years ago, and we have had people look at it. I do believe Brad is even one that's potentially looked at it and said that at the time, there was not issues. Now, I'm not saying that I
Can change.
everybody knows that I'm not a tree person, so I'm not gonna act like I know anything about ivy killing a tree because I'm past my pay grade,
It's
sorry.
nasty, yeah.
But as far as that goes, I mean, yeah, we can look at that, but I will also say that there is a constant set of emails complaining about that particular house from that particular person. And, you know, I'm not sure, at some point harassing them is also possibly, like you said, there's obviously something that either they're not able, capable, something, is that our fault? No. But that is something that we can see what we can do to either force the hand at it or, again,
I want to be nicer about it.
yeah,
too.
I mean, we do get elderly people that can't cut their grass. We
Yeah.
do hear those types of things. So there are times in which, maybe it just means if somebody wants to go volunteer to do it, if they're willing to let somebody on their property to do it. So again, not everybody does have the funding to be able to go and do the things that their
Yeah.
neighbors want them to do. I'm not saying it's right, but there are times in which, my grandfather was one of them. His last 3 years of his life, it just was that way. It just was what it was. Family wanted to help and he was not having it. So at that point, we just kind of had to do what we had to do. So I'm not saying it was fair to the neighbors, but I mean, there is still, we can continue to send letters, we can continue to do that. But if they're not responding, short of finding them, we can't make someone go do something on their own property.
We have to have a legitimate reason to
Yeah.
declare it a hazard tree.
Correct.
And it has to be, it can't.
And I'm not saying it's not at this point.
It has to be a direct danger to the right of way, so
Right.
that one side of the tree, since I know we've looked at it in the past, like you said.
Yes, we have.
The one side of the tree to this point in time has not been considered a danger to the right of way. So we can try to encourage them and we will talk about it in house and we will do so.
Yeah.
So,
Just for a bit of context, if it's a white oak, just a bit of context, your typical white oak tree, the rule of thumb is can take 300 years to grow, 300 years to live, and 300 years to die. So it would be quite a shame if, something that could be adjusted prematurely ends the life of an organism that can live. And if it's a white oak, the species has lived for examples well over 1,000 years. I mean, so it'd be, I'm not saying I know how old that one is personally, but it'd be a shame if it's not something that, if it's something we could fix that is not fixed.
the tree is a huge tree. The tree could afford to be, it's a gorgeous tree, it's huge.
Right.
This is the part that clearly has difficulties, it's strained, dead, and this is right over their vehicles. So, not a danger to the right of way on this side. The tree could probably use some dead wood pruning, to help take care of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, most of these trees of this size and age couldn't do that. We did that down there with an oak, and we had to remove one oak over our stage. It's probably same age group as this tree.
Can you zoom in on the trunk though?
What's that?
Can you zoom in on the trunk at all?
See the trunk? It doesn't.
Yeah, and it's covered with ivy now. I will tell you, it is
Yeah.
and ivy grows really fast and it can suffocate a tree, so.
So we will.
And it looks to be a white oak sometimes. That is easily a 200-year-old tree.
Yeah, I think it's the oldest tree in the village, actually.
Well, now it
Maybe,
is.
We think so.
for now.
So,
That'd certainly be a shame, so I'll end my piece on that.
right. We'll see what we can do. All right.
Okay, so that was your old business. Do we have more old business? Barb, am I forgetting anything?
What are we
I
missing?
have new business.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Thank you. We had a permit, right-of-way permit, which was unusual the other day, and it was from EcoPlumber, and it has to do with sewer in front of 2718 Alder Vista. This is the house here. The property in question, talking to EcoPlumber, they had to do work for the entire lateral, and especially this section of the lateral right in front of our main, where the tap is essentially located. It's deteriorated. We obviously don't want it leaking into the ground, under the street. It's all bad things, sewer plus under roadway, all bad. So, granted them the permit, they provided a bond, obviously, because they're cutting a piece of the roadway out, and we expect them to obviously replace the roadway the way it's supposed to be. Okay. There are two issues here. The main issue, for purposes of our discussion, is that the section of obviously in the right of way is our sewer that they're repaired. We allowed them to repair it. The total cost is roughly around $3,400. I had some discussions with Jesse and told the mayor I'll be bringing this to your attention this evening. My feeling, is that this is our sewer. We'd be due to repair it, if it's in the right of way. And so it is kind of behooves the discussion of their reimbursement we can get back to the homeowners. This was not offered to them, by the way. I wanted to bring it to your attention, obviously before any offering was made. We wanted to allow them to go ahead and make the repair for obvious reasons, and they moved forward with it, and we're working on it today. So, second part of this, just so you know, is EcoPlumber was kind enough when they dug it open, to call me and said, hey, your main has got a bunch of cracks in it. And I said, wonderful. And I said, you should get someone who, you know, is obviously one of your experts out there, and the supervisor went out there along with the field tech who was there, and they assessed it and said, it's not bad. We're gonna reinforce it with this concrete while we're in there, no charge. So they went ahead and took care of us while they were out there, very kind of Eco Plumbers, wanted to give them a attaboy for that, and we appreciate it. And so, obviously, the infrastructure here in the village is aging, probably gonna run into it from time to time. And bring it to your attention, just, you know, if we wanna give something back to the homeowner, in this case, we're doing essentially, our repair work on the fly. It's in your court for that.
So during a street project, we would have repaired that
Right.
and eaten that expense anyways, right? Like, we would have repaired that piece.
If you were, yeah, if you're going through and you're redoing the sewers along, yeah, you would have replaced all of this.
Up to where
Up to
we,
the lateral parcel line right there.
alright,
Okay, but,
And I imagine we have money in our fund to take care of those things.
$3,400.
Yeah, it's a very small amount.
but how much would it have cost us since we're doing a larger project? Like, would it have been like a $200 fix for us? You know what I mean? Like, you can't put a number on
I
it
can
like
get,
that.
what I would suggest is if there's interest from council to do this, I would get an itemized list of repairs of where the repair, you know, what the primary repair is in the right of way, rather than the
Yes.
rights of ours.
That does not seem unreasonable to me at all. I mean, I don't think we want to do that, you know, for every single
Yeah, no.
thing, you know, every single property down the line. But if they're gonna go out of their way and do that, you know, on the, you know, these guys are, you know, a year or two from now, the occasional one-off, I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Well, I think, if we do it for this person, and
Yeah.
then there's the next person and the next person, like, what are we looking at?
Well, the thing is that this is a here and there type of thing at the moment, until we get to it, but it's a repair that we, at the end of the day, would be responsible for. If they came to us and they said, hey, we're gonna fix our lateral to the parcel line, but here's the scope, and here's what's going on, there's a hole in it, the poop's leaking out into the street, you know, like,
Do we have our own scope?
we would want to fix that.
I mean, if, yeah, I
We
mean,
have our own scope,
if,
so.
if that were our piece and
Right,
it
so-
broke,
Right.
outside of a regular repair, we'd probably be spending more than
That is absolutely true, actually.
So,
It's nice they're able to do this, and we can just talk about a reimbursement versus having to bid the job and pay a prevailing wage, and all that other good stuff that goes with the type of work. So for the council's purposes of decision-making, I will bring to your attention tonight, I will get something a little more itemized and descriptive of what they did, where they did it, and how that breaks down in cost, and you can then be educated on how and what you want to reimburse, if anything. So.
I feel like we got camera views of
do.
everything.
We do.
Exactly,
It's
we
probably
have
been
our own
about-
scopes.
It's
Right.
probably been about 3 years since we were in that section.
Oh, okay.
It's like, even then, like, 3 years, how much damage, you know?
Not every
Well,
6
yeah.
months or something, so.
I'd say itemize it out. I can't imagine it being too absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's obviously some money put into the lateral that's, you know, attached to that, there's labor attached to that. I mean, it's not, you won't be reimbursing the 3,400, you'll be reimbursing for a section that's in our.
In the right of way.
Just our sewer, so,
okay.
that's all.
Why did they get that repaired to begin with?
They had a problem.
They had a problem with the sewage and it's something, I don't know the reason how they became aware of it,
Okay,
but Eco Plumber was out there, they scoped it, they found the problem, and then put in the permit and everything, that's, I'll get a little more color, a little more detail. for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Because it's happening kind of quick.
Nothing here sounds unreasonable.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else?
I thought of one
Go for it.
old business that we had talked about, so,
Got one till next meeting.
I'm gonna bring it up anyways, we don't have to talk about it, but, so we had discussed about possibly rezoning or doing something with the shopping space along Cleveland Avenue.
yeah.
There is, with all the Northland stuff going on, that whole project, there was some news about some Florida developer that purchased some
Beachfront.
of the street
Yeah,
retail space, and so, you know, I think we might be in the, I'd rather be ahead of people wanting to buy up property and improve it than behind them all on that, so I just don't want that to fall off. I know you two are gonna be discussing it, and who's been some vacations and whatnot, so.
We can get you a draft of a plan, commercial development.
Right.
Zoning that would be
Okay.
perhaps applicable in this case, would give you some flexibility from a zoning standpoint to work with the developer. And then have the council debate and discuss, when things come forward with different densities, parking, all of those concerns at once. And then the council has the ability, outside of straight zoning, to make much more flexible decisions.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, that's been in the paper a lot, the
Yeah.
Beechcroft ones.
Right.
Over there.
Right, so, and there's just a lot of hype right now on this Northland corridor. or this
Oh, yeah.
161
The
corridor,
apartments
so-
or whatever on
Yeah,
161.
yep, so I'd rather be thinking ahead rather than trying to catch up on some
Reacting.
stuff.
we agree.
Yep,
All right, do we have any more old business or new business? Get your pool memberships, that's it.
We have a pool?
We do.
What?
And there's a baby pool too.
A baby pool?
Right?
Can you put babies in it?
No, that's mine.
Oh.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.